So, as a believer in God and a follower of Christ, and one who is very much into health and fitness and seeing people healthier and all that kind of stuff, I often find myself very interested in the intersection of healthy living and the church, what we call Christian living, or whatever. And the reason why is because it has been my experience throughout all of my life from, you know, pretty much as far back as I can remember up until now. It's been my experience that I have seen many, many people in churches that I grew up in um, suffer and die from preventable illness. And, it's been one of those things that, here and there I was wondering, like, should it be different for us? Should it be different for people in the church? And not from the sense, not from the standpoint of like, you know, people who believe in God or whatever being immune, but rather having something like some kind of wisdom or something that kind of like, um, you know, gives us an edge, so to speak. It's not really the way I want to phrase it, but it's what's coming to me now. Anyhow, that said, I'm of the very strong opinion that most of us in the church who call ourselves Christ followers have the wrong idea about health, and and we're in need of renewing our minds about health because we believe that all of us, whether you follow Christ or not, that everybody is created with a purpose that God gave them, and that part of what it means to live is to discover what your purpose is and walk it out, discover what God created you for. Um, but for some reason in the church, health doesn't really factor into that. It usually doesn't. Now, it should. Sean, why do you say that it should? Just because you like health and fitness? No, no, it's not that at all. To me, it's logical. Think about this. You just appeared on this earth somewhere, some at some point in time, and you have some purpose or whatever that, it's in part your job to discover, why am I here? Why did God put me here? Now, not only did God put you here, but he also put everything that you need here to thrive as you walk out, as you live out that purpose. Now, also what is present on the earth is, the opportunity to indulge. Really, these days, to indulge 24/7 if we would like. When I say indulge, I mean eat a whole lot of different things that aren't good for your body, or engage in other type of lifestyle practices that are clearly harmful to your body. Any and all of us can indulge all the time. Now, I'm not against occasional indulgence, because if it truly is occasional, if it truly is in moderation, um, it shouldn't really do much of any harm. But most of us unknowingly are indulging all the time. Like, we're literally indulging breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We're literally doing things to our bodies even outside of eating, such as not getting enough sleep, such as being very stressed, such as being sedentary, such as staying indoors away from the natural earth that God created, and therefore missing the health benefits that come from that, such as being isolated in our Western society. So many things that we're doing, um, multiple things like every day, that are really and truly assaulting our bodies. And yet, we believe that we were created for a purpose. Now, so hopefully, as I'm saying this, you can kind of see like how this is incongruent. How can you have a purpose and even have the various tools, including access to stuff for a healthy body, and you don't utilize those as you live out your purpose? Like, it really doesn't make any sense. And ultimately, I believe what really is at play, y'all, and we have to be honest, is that our society has made us used to overindulging. It's made us used to being very convenient. It's made us used to prioritizing the taste of food over the health of our bodies. Now let's be real. Let's just really be straight up. One of the reasons why we remain alive is because we consume food. You need food to survive. So food, the primary purpose of it is for survival, literally to put nutrients inside of your body that you need. You actually need certain things. Like I always say, the body has very fundamental needs that you have to meet to not only live, but to thrive. And so you have these needs. You always have these needs. And literally, when you deprive your body over time of what it needs, then at some point it's going to come back and bite you. At some point, it's going to manifest in the form of, you know, illness, to the very least, just not feeling well. And how does that honor God? How does that help you to walk out your purpose? And even if you really are kind of walking in your purpose, how well can you do it when your body is not operating the way it's supposed to because it's not being maintained? This is what we do life in. This flesh, this is what you do life in. You don't have another one. And for some reason we have divorced healthy living from what it means to be a believer in God. When we also believe that God created all of this stuff, when we also believe that God is good. If we believe that God is good, if we believe that being healthy is good, it's like this health has to come from God. All the different things that we need to be healthy are here. Those have to come from Him. And so we got to get this stuff right, y'all. We have to get it right. We have to understand that healthy living is not somehow um a secondary thing or an optional thing. It's a part of a whole. God made all of this stuff, and I think a lot of times in the church, we have this mistaken attitude that you prioritize the spiritual. Now, don't get me wrong, I get it. In a sense, yes, but at the same time, we forget that everything is connected. The way God created everything, it's really hard to pay attention to one thing and then neglect the other thing, and the thing you neglect not affect the other stuff. Like your physical is connected to your spiritual. Again, remember, y'all, this is what we're doing life in. This is it. So, like, if you feel like junk, then that is going to affect the way that you live your life. If you're trying to walk out purpose and you don't even feel like it, or you're not well, does that not affect how you live on purpose? So I'm saying all that to say, if you believe that you have a purpose from God and you are not taking care of your body, you're not having any mindset toward that, or you see health as like a secondary or tertiary thing, you are mistaken. And I say that in humility. I don't mean to offend, but this is one of those things that really rings very strongly in my heart, and it has to be said. Y'all, healthy living is not an optional thing. And if you've made it optional, then you have definitely affected how well you can walk out your purpose in life. If we're gonna really do everything that God called us to do, if we really are truly going to do everything that God called us to do, whoever you are, if you're going to, then you have to understand you do it in your body. You do it here. So you have to factor in the maintenance of your body. Now, don't try not to think about all the different kind of things that people put out there, all the information about weight loss and all the information about how you're supposed to eat, how you're not supposed to eat, all that kind of stuff. Sometimes society has made it way too complicated. But all that said, you got to be getting your sleep. And I'm speaking to myself. I'm doing better these days, but like I have sometimes not really done as well on sleep. But you got to be getting your sleep. You got to be taking time to kind of decompress and get away from all of the computers and stuff. You got to be eating a lot of healthy food, high quality food, not like packaged stuff all the time. Like that has to be a very small. If you eat any processed food, it should be an extremely small percentage because the body really can't live well off of that stuff. It's man made. You have to be having a diet that is largely, in my opinion, based off of plant foods. You know, high quality meats and not necessarily too much meat either. Um, this has to be. You have to live, and then understand also this too, that you actually intentionally living a life of purpose also contributes to your health as well. So, like, as you give your body nutrition and you nurture it to live out your purpose, you also have to be very intentional about whatever your purpose is, which will come back and benefit your physical health too. Because if you don't think that you have a purpose, then that actually does something to your body, and that can affect your health. Have you ever heard about how people who um are, experiencing like very, very heavy grief, that their heart shape can change? Or how, somebody who's very stressed out, sometimes can have like a, heart attack, or even like, angina or something like that, which is like, chest pains and stuff. Like that, it's it goes both ways because everything is connected. Okay. So anyway, I think I've said enough here, but just understand, if you believe you have a purpose and you are not intentionally taking care of your body, you're mistaken. And again, I say that with all due respect. I say that in love, but y'all, we got to get it right.